The federal government has just listed the Bishnoi gang as a terrorist group.
The Canadian government has listed Bishnoi gang as a terrorist.
Lawrence Bishnoi and his entire gang has been declared a terrorist entity by Ottawa under its criminal code.
Why Canada has declared Bishnoi gang a terrorist group? How come even after diverging views, India and Canada are important for each other? Is this a new turning point that we are seeing in India-Canada relations? Canada has just made a bold move where it has designated Lawrence Bishnoi gang as a terrorist entity. And it is not just about crime. It is signaling a shift in security, trade and diaspora safety, and it has a significant impact on India as well. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh and today we are going to talk about that how designation of Lawrence Bishnoi gang is signaling not just a shift in bilateral trade, but also it is an important factor between India-Canada relationship. Now let us start with understanding what exactly has been done. So Canada has officially listed Lawrence Bishnoi gang as a terrorist entity, and this has been done as per its criminal code. Now, because of this listing or designation as a terrorist entity, now any sorts of assets of this particular gang would be frozen. The property seizure will take place. There will be ban on any sort of financial support, as well as a stronger persecution will take place. And here Canada has been very clear on the fact that they are doing this for their people's safety, that they want such acts of violence, they don't have any place in their country, and the whole idea of targeting a specific community will not be entertained or fueled in Canada. But when you talk about Lawrence Bishnoi gang itself, it is a transnational crime gang which operates mainly from our own country, India, where its leader Lawrence Bishnoi as of now is present in Indian prison. Even after when its leader has been imprisoned, we see that it was the main influential factor when we are talking about Khalistani extremist movement, and also the recent threats that have been doing around be it Salman Khan and other entities, especially from this particular gang. Now this is so significant for India for multiple reasons. Now let us look at these reasons. First, this has given a clear validation that India has a long-standing concern, especially about transnational crime and terror nexus, which has been spread by this particular gang. And now this step that has been taken by Canada, it will directly help in India-Canada joint effort that would be taken, especially against terrorism. Apart from this, this is definitely a rebuilding step from both of the countries that can be seen after they faced high tensions during 2023, just after the assassination of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, where both of the countries had ousted the diplomats, both of the countries had stopped the visas, and there was a high tension environment has existed between India and Canada since then. And it will also facilitate directly, especially Indian diaspora and their safety, because this gang targeted not just businessmen but also cultural figures such as Kapil Sharma and other Punjabi entertainers which are present in Canada. So it will not just be a step which is for the bilateral ties, but it will also facilitate Canada's own population and our own people which are living there. And this all can be understood as a watermark movement where Canada is gradually taking a tougher stance. Where it used to have a liberal stance, now it has shifted towards a tougher stance, especially on the groups which are related to Indian origin crime. Now that we have understood what exactly has happened, let us move to understand that why Canada is important for India. Even though Canada has had diverging thoughts as compared to India on multiple issues, be it Afghanistan, be it Kashmir, be it China, but still we are important for each other but which are the factors which get to decide what is the level of importance. Now let us start with first dimension, that is political as well as strategic. When we are talking about political and strategic dimensions, India and Canada have had comprehensive strategic partnerships with ministerial dialogues, be it for foreign trade, be it for energy exchanges, be it for mineral resources, etc. Apart from that, we have also seen extended cooperation between both of these countries, especially in Pacific as well as Arctic region. Be it the cold climate studies or the polar climate research, these are the important pointers where they have been strategically aligning in the past. Apart from this, the nuclear comprehensive agreement of 2010 and joint committee on nuclear safety of 2015 are the long-standing points which shows that how we have been standing with each other in strategic terms, where not just India but Canada also needs India for facilitation of these pointers. Apart from that, we have some strong economic linkages where both of the countries are dependent on each other in terms of exports and imports. So when we are talking about exports from Canada, we see some important things for India such as pulses, timber, mining products, etc. And when we are talking about imports from India, we have textiles, machinery, gems, and most importantly, pharma. That is the biggest Indian export that goes out to Canada. It is as huge as $30 billion in 2024, where India had the trade surplus. So in this situation, Canada also stands as an important economic partner, trade partner for our country. Apart from that, the diaspora diplomacy, because if you look into the diaspora, Indian diaspora present in Canada, it almost forms 4% of the Canada's population, contributing to their economy, which can also be seen with 15 plus Indian origin MPs which are present in Canadian Parliament, and Canada celebrates April as the Sikh Heritage Month itself. So it clearly highlights that how important our diaspora stands in their own country itself. Apart from that, when we are talking about education and culture, India remains one of the highest origin points of students who go to institutes in Canada, which makes us the top source country since 2018. Academic bodies such as Shastri Indo-Canadian Institute, which was established back in 1968, IC Impacts, all such are the evidences that how we are bound educationally as well as culturally. Apart from that, another major point has been the focus on technology and space cooperation, where we see ISRO as well as CSA, where they have multiple MOUs for space exploration. ISRO will be launching 9 nano satellites for the Canadian institutions, which clearly highlights that both of these countries are partners, and it would be in the benefit of both of these countries to maintain their bilateral relations. Now, the reason I was highlighting the fact that why Canada is important for India, this will also explain why India is important for Canada, because the contribution comes from the both of the countries, and this justifies the fact that why Canada is shifting its stance in the favor where they can get and enhance their cooperation with India. Now let us understand that what have been the key contention points in recent times and how both of the countries have been trying to repair it. If you will see the key contention point, you will understand the major contention issue, especially from India's end, has always been the extremism and security, because up and until the ex-PM, that is Justin Trudeau, there was a little more favorism towards extremism, more openness, and that was in the name of rights that they were giving to their population. But that was compromising on the security, not just in their country, but in our country as well, and it was fueling extremism. Apart from that, trade disagreements have existed for a long time. We have been trying to close a comprehensive economic partnership agreement with Canada, but similar differences that we have with USA have existed with India and Canada, where we are trying to protect our primary sector, especially our agri commodities, and we are not letting it open, especially for countries which have significant development and bigger primary sector contributions in their own country. So India has had tariff as well as non-tariff barriers, and which are not favorable for Canada as per their own, and that is why we have seen multiple stallings when we are talking about the negotiations for CEPA, and that has been majorly blocked, especially after the 2023 tensions that we saw. Apart from that, Canada has a different human rights narrative which it talks about how India treats its own minorities, which is definitely not acceptable for India in the case when we are not allowing third parties interference in our own matters. We would not appreciate strategic partners to make such statement. However, India has also been pointing out in the direction of Canada that how they are facilitating crime in their own country. Then we have immigration and visa issues which have recently emerged only after 2023, which has affected the student community, the business people, especially because of the lack of clarity and random orders coming in from both of the countries because of the heightened tensions that we saw during time. Now, another two factors that have been the main contention point are the geopolitical divergence. When I am talking about Canada favoring the Western idea when we are talking about Afghanistan, where India favors the regional stability. When we are talking about China, the NATO aligned approach, Canada favors that. India talks in a different direction. We are talking about Pakistan and Kashmir issue as well. This divergent approach of Canada often fuels friction. But India has different concerns in terms of perception, because India thinks Canada always favors and looks towards the Pacific region partners rather than giving the due importance that India should get. And here the step that has been taken by Canada is going to address one of the key friction points that India had from Canada, and that is going to help not just in addressing diaspora safety but also enhancing the cooperation, and maybe we can expect the finality in CEPA that has been stalled for multiple times, especially since 2023. Now moving ahead and understanding that what coming times might look like for India and Canada. In this perspective, definitely we are seeing strengthened security and counter-terrorism cooperation, not just this designation of entity. Recent arrest that was made last week, which you can understand in detail in this given video, that was also a facilitation of anti-terrorism stance from India. Further sharing of intelligence, strengthening legal frameworks, especially on terror financing, can bring India and Canada closer. Furthermore, the most important fulcrum point can become of this cooperation can be trade. If we are to get a proper CEPA finalized, that will help us to explore cooperation on much needed upcoming sectors, be it critical minerals, be it clean energy, EV supply chains, etc. Apart from that, the focus can also be towards diaspora management, bringing in more engagement through educational and cultural dimensions, ensuring that diaspora is not exploited by extremist and cultural groups, and as I said, focusing on cultural diplomacy and community safety to build trust between both of the nations. Furthermore, the strategic partnership that already exists, the focus should be on expansion so that they can come together for Indo-Pacific security, nuclear cooperation, space exploration, Arctic study, etc. And India and Canada can be leaders when we are talking about deepened collaboration, especially for climate change and renewable technologies as well. So this clearly highlights that in coming time there is a lot of scope for India-Canada relations. It's just that the right steps need to be taken in the right direction and at the right time itself. Now that can be done with institutionalizing proper political design and further enhancing the confidence building steps in the coming years. Now, I will leave you with a practice question. Here's the question. Consider the following statements about India-Canada relationships based on education. In the field of education, India has been top source of country for international students in Canada since 2018. Second, we have Shastri Indo-Canadian Institute was established in 1968 to promote academic relations between two countries. And third, Canada's Department of Earth Science and Polar Canada has collaborated with India on cold climate Arctic studies. Now, which of the statements given above are correct? Let me know the answer in the comment section. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.